Hello everyone, welcome back to Roisin is Right. My name is Roisin, I am always right, and I'm going to talk about whatever I want. Now, guys, hate to say, but thank you. My last video actually did kind of well. I wasn't expecting anybody other than my friends to see it. When my friend looked and was like, oh, you have 1,500 views and 100 subscribers, I was like, oh, guys, oh my god, thanks for that. Okay, on to what we're going to talk about today. So, I was bullied as a teenager, and I definitely did have some weird interests. Maybe not weird, I'm sure lots of people out there will relate to me if I say I was present on the night call scene every night. But one of those interests as a teenager was, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's, Fnaf. We know her, we love her, we have opinions on her. So, today, I am going to be telling you a couple of my thoughts about the recently made Fnaf movies, because I have opinions. Specifically, I have a lot of notes on the second one. I don't really remember much of the first one. I think I blacked out. I'm basically going to be talking about, if you were to make a Fnaf movie, what would you want that to look like? Because what we have now, that ain't what anybody wants. Who's liking those films? So, yeah, let's begin. Now, if you were a slightly alternative or emo teenager in the 2010s, I'm sure you were around for the rise and fall of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Now, I am a big advocate in the fact that the first 6 games, as a complete story, they ate. There were a lot of potential there. It's not perfect, nobody can ever complete the Fnaf timeline because Scott Cawthon clearly made it up as he went along, but needless to say, it had potential. There was an emotional core, if you will. We have fallen off the rails. We have fallen very far off the rails, and I am going to blame capitalism. I think they got greedy. They have to keep churning out the Fnaf games, and it has massively murdered the franchise. Secrets of the Mimic? What the fuck is a mimic? And why is William Afton back? He should have died in that pizzeria simulator. Or is he back? Is he the mimic? I don't know. Because now, believe it or not, I'm a fully grown adult and I don't actually have enough time to try and comprehend what the fuck is going on post pizzeria simulator. That being said, when I found out that the Fnaf movies were going to be a thing, starting from the original, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be sick. The Fnaf timeline has fallen so far from grace. This is a great opportunity to put us back on track and maybe fill in a couple of the plot holes, make a timeline that makes sense. That was not meant to be. That was clearly not meant to be. Fnaf is, at its core, about a really messed up family. Specifically, one messed up guy, but how his actions affect the entirety of his family. That's a really interesting premise. And I thought that maybe it would be a pretty lawful set of stories in terms of the films. Maybe they would follow the law of the Afton family, and that would be really sick. But no, that was not meant to be. But I think if they had done that, it would have been really good. So let me set a scene for you. Let me paint a picture. Okay, I've changed the background because Freddy was pulling the limelight and it wasn't on. So I believe that the Fnaf films, maybe as a trilogy, could work really well if we followed the emotional backbone of Michael Afton's journey in parallel specifically with his dad's William Afton's. So what this would look like in practice a little bit, and I know this is going to differ a bit depending on people's perception of the timeline, but I'm just going to go off my own, what was widely accepted at the time when I was really deep in the Fnaf niche. So the first film, we start with Michael's childhood. Growing up with an abusive dad, an absent mum. We do him bullying his little brother. We do the whole, was that the Bite of 87? The Bite of 83. We do Fnaf 4, following him having these nightmares, or possibly William's experiments, depending on what you believe. And then we finish with his first step into the Fnaf world. Whether that is what you believe, it can be a lot of different... People think he went different places first. I was a firm believer back in the day that he went to the sister location first, so that's what we're going to say for the sake of this. It can end... Even that is quite a lot for one film, but it can end with him being scooped. Second film, we follow him and William, either at the same time or during flashbacks with William, becoming the security guards and working out the whole ploy and everything that's been going on whilst Michael is slowly decomposing because Ennard has gone. That is really fascinating. oh my god, he's here. It gives us a good chance to see into William's psyche. It gives us the background of the whole MCI, all of that. And it gives us a chance to have that FNAF gameplay, both in the first one with Sister Location and the second one with this, which is what I think the films initially were going for. They were like, oh, well, we have to include the FNAF gameplay. Let's just build a whole story around that. That's a horrible idea. And then the third one can be him meeting up with Henry, getting all of the animatronics into the pizzeria, and then FNAF 6. That would be fucking peak. That would be such a good narrative journey and character journey for both Michael and William. We get to learn about the family, we get to learn about Henry, Charlie, everyone who is important, Cassidy, everyone. Anything else is irrelevant. That should have been what the FNAF films were. But no, we're stuck with slop. So let's start chatting about my qualms with the FNAF films. Okay, let's break down the mess that are the FNAF films. Now, I'm not going to explain a timeline or the plot here. It follows Mike Schmidt, who is a character largely thought in theories to be a codename for Michael Afton. Nope, in this one he's just Mike Schmidt. He has a little sister called Abby, and they team up with a security guard / William Afton's daughter, Vanessa. Okay, sure. And then in the second film, we get introduced to Charlie, the puppet. Love Charlie, the diva. And actual Michael Afton. So, Mike Schmidt, Michael Afton, two different people. Okay, so let's begin with some top notes. Basically, the emotional backbone that I was just talking about in the ideal FNAF film series, that is not present in these. In fact, what the fuck is going on at any given point? What is happening? It is, it's a mess, to be sure. Not only that, but they butcher all of the currently known characters that they didn't bring into this film. So Michael Afton and Charlie are the ones that come to mind. If you want to butcher well-loved characters, that's one thing, you can certainly do that, but you should at least replace them with equally loved characters, new ones, Mike, Abby, Vanessa. But no, you don't even do that, because their characters fucking suck ass. Let's go through a little bit of stuff for the characters. Starting with Mike, he's a difficult one. His whole backstory is that his brother was kidnapped by William Afton at a camp. He has like nightmares and is really worried about Abby and like just stresses the fuck out, basically. But especially in the second film, all of that kind of backstory and lore that we get is completely gone. He couldn't give less of a fuck about Abby, in fact. Like, he really does not give a fuck. He basically has no time with her in the film, which I'm not complaining about because she is annoying as fuck. But yeah, he basically doesn't do anything. And the choices that he does make are stupid. He chooses to stay in the office fending off the animatronics when it should have been Vanessa, since she's the only one who knows her way around that computer system. But instead, she's driving around in a whip with mangle on top. Like, what's going on? And he also makes the really stupid choice at the end of the second film to close the music box when it's known that it is the only thing that can put Charlie to sleep and keep her docile. Why the fuck would you close that stupid box, you idiot? Like, what the fuck? Clearly, though, idiocy runs in the family because Abby is... Oh my god. You know? Okay, let me chill out. If there is one thing that I hate more than anything in this world in films, it's when kids don't do what they're meant to do, even in a life or death scenario. That's why I really like media like The Last of Us, because when Joel tells Ellie these are the rules, she sticks to the rules unless there is a dire reason not to, because that's how you stay alive. Abby, she should get her neck twisted. I'm not gonna lie, like, she actually does nothing that she's meant to be doing. Also, she has this, her whole thing is that she's like obsessed with animatronics for some reason. Like, she's like, oh, they're my friends. Girl, get real friends. Like, stop biking your fucking ass over to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to hang out with Chica. Also, there's this weird thing in the second film where, like, she has this robotics class. What 11-year-old is doing a robotics class? And she pulls off this, like, mini Chica, which is really fucking good. It's this weird dichotomy where they haven't written her very well. So in some regards, she's really advanced and intelligent for her age. And in another, she's, like, emotionally and, like linguistically stunted. Like, I don't know, in terms of Vanessa's a tough one. So you have an interesting thing there with her being the daughter of William Afton and him forcing her to aid him in his murder of children. That's really interesting. Okay, sure. But they don't do anything with it. Especially in the second film, they have this really nondescript, like, flashback where she's being chased around her house by her dad, and for some reason, put a pin in this, circus baby is there. The fuck? But it's not really clear, like, in what ways he was abusive. Like, we know he was abusive, but we don't know how. It makes him not very threatening. And also, the other issue with Vanessa is she is just this exposition vehicle. All she does is just talk about, well, actually, this is this, and I know this. What the like, how do you know all this? Like, what is going on? It creates plot holes as well. Like, the whole plot of the second film in a way is that her brother Michael is trying to get the perimeter lock code, right, so that he can release the animatronics on the world. That might be wrong, but he can't get the perimeter code. He has to get Vanessa to get it. Why the fuck has she got it and you don't? You have the same dad. The elephant in the room really is that her name is Vanessa. She's named after a security officer in Security Breach. Like, what? Why is Vanessa here? Like, why is Vanny here? And is Vanny a thing? Like, why have you done this? Why have you done that? I just don't get it. On the subject, I feel like a lot of the choices they made with Mike and Vanessa purely exist as, like, plot twists. Like, it's like, oh, it's Vanessa from Security Breach. That's confusing. Turns out she's William's daughter, when the whole time you think that it's going to be the reveal that Mike is the son of William because he's Mike Schmidt. But actually, it turns out Mike Schmidt is just a guy. Ooh. My thoughts exactly. Like, what the fuck is this? Now, speaking of some characters that we've met before, some classics, if you will, William Afton, the man behind the slaughter. They've wasted my guy Matthew. They have wasted his talent. He's not frightening at all. I know in the first film he had some pretty interesting stuff going on at the end. He was like, I always come back. Like, he kind of ate that up. But he's just not frightening. He's just not scary. He's just not threatening. And on that same topic, I think it's weird how this whole story revolves around a man who runs a children's business, murdering children and stuffing them into his animatronics. That is the most fucked up shit I've ever fucking heard. So why is both films actually, so unscary? They're not frightening. They're not gory. You don't truly get to grasp the magnitude and the actual, like, screwed upness of what that man did. They don't make any effort to get the audience to understand the actual, like, gravity of this situation. Also, he's just kind of a nothing villain. It's a really interesting plot point in the games, if you want to believe this timeline, that he begins killing because of the loss of his son. That's really interesting. Obviously, he's fucked up either way, but it's something there. It's like an emotion. You know, he doesn't have that in this film. He's just a dude. I also want to just say, just as a little editing note that I forgot, that in the films he is really bad at murdering kids. In the games, he does have a lot of tactfulness and he's smart about his decisions. Like, he brings them into the back, he disposes of the bodies. It's, you know, he only ever takes kids away when it's busy, so it's hard to see where they could have got lost. Witnesses are less, right? In the films, he makes so stupid decisions, like stabbing Charlie in the back when he knows that she's about to be seen by the entire public, and also driving out to places like the camp to get Gareth when he could have just kidnapped kids in his own kids' entertainment establishment, which is like part of the reason why he's a murderer, because it's so easy to access these children. Yeah, he's literally just a guy running around with a knife. Like, you really don't grasp his terror aspect. I'm hoping maybe in the third film, because if there's one thing that these films do super, super well, it is the animatronic design and the fact that they are physical props. I'm really hoping they do my boy Springtrap justice, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Now, on to Charlie. Now, Charlie and Michael Afton kind of suffer the same fate in this film, in the second film. And that is the fate of, you have taken two of the only forces of good that we have in this franchise ever and turned them into the villains. For what? For literally what reason? Like, it's very hard to root for anybody in this franchise apart from Charlie and Michael and maybe even Gregory, and that's a push. Like, they're the only good people, so why the fuck have you turned them both into villains? And shit villains too. They make no sense. The opening scene with Charlie, like, trying to save that boy is kind of good. Like, they kind of ate that up. I liked her little, her costume that, like, foreshadowed that she was going to be the puppet. That is fun. So kind of weird that she's just, like, sat there in the front being like, oh my god, I'm so alone. Okay, what's that all about? Don't know. Oh my god, this... If there's one thing that, like, genuinely this might be the thing that annoyed me the most in this second film. When a child runs up to you in clearly the most amount of panic you will have ever seen, being like, somebody needs help, and you're like, go away. All of the parents in that sequence are so unrealistic. They're all just like, the adults are talking. Girl, she said, call an ambulance, we need someone now. Be fucking for real. But then there's this weird thing where, because that happens, when she dies and becomes the puppet, she's mad at every single parent in the world instead of the guy who fucking murdered her. Like, wrap it up. So her motivation in this film is that she's mad at all parents, so she wants to escape from the pizzeria into the world and kill every parent. The fuck? If you're not aware, Charlie the puppet in the game, she is the first child that William Afton murders. She's the daughter of his business partner Henry Emily, and her whole thing is that she gets murdered and she becomes the puppet, the security puppet who's meant to keep kids in the building. So because of this, she feels this really innate sense to protect and look after the other children who he murders. She's basically like the force of good amongst the spirits. She helps them, she frees them from their animatronic bodies, and she is the one that basically guides them all up to heaven at the end of Fnaf 6. She's a really good character. The puppet has great design, like, she's just sick. So they've just butchered my girl. Also, she just starts possessing people in the second film. What the fuck? Like... I think that having the spirits, the ghosts of the children in the animatronics makes it so it doesn't feel like a supernatural game. It's a horror game, but obviously you're being chased by something that's physical. You're being chased by these big ass, 6 foot, scary ass, smelly ass animatronics, but the spirits are inside them. When you start to bring in like possession and like just ghost shit, you've lost me. I mean, you lost me about 10 minutes in, but you've lost me. Also, they wasted my girl McKenna Grace for no reason. Like, she literally did fuck all apart from get possessed by the puppet. It was dumb. It was pointless. And then there was this weird thing where she's inside Chica at the end, and I feel like maybe that's an allusion to Ennard, but it doesn't work. It's bizarre to me and I don't understand it. Okay, let's move on to Michael Afton. Excuse me if I get heated here, but Michael Afton is my favourite character in the Fnaf series, so I have really strong opinions about this. I'm also a big Freddie Carter fan, so the fact that they butchered my dude like that, it made him look that greasy, pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie. So, Michael Afton is the other force of good that we get in the original 6 Fnaf games. Now, he's a little bit more complicated, his timeline is a little bit more unknown, but generally the consensus is that when he was growing up, he accidentally killed his little brother because he put him in the mouth of Freddy Fazbear. He was then haunted by this mistake and all of this past, and William was incredibly abusive to him, and maybe he ended up helping his father in some of his murdering endeavors. Then he goes to the sister location, which we think might have been under his house. Don't know, can't tell you. He goes there, and he finds out that his sister, who also went missing, is stuffed into Baby, who's an animatronic down there. This endeavour ends by him being disemboweled and having all of the animatronics who have melded into one called Ennard inside of his body. He then wanders around on the road as a decomposing corpse for months or years before Ennard throws himself up and leaves. So then he's just a corpse walking around. He's still alive, don't ask questions. Then he tracks his father down by working the night shift as a security guard in all of the pizzeria, the closed pizzerias. Eventually he finds his dad, who has been trapped in a springlock suit. He burns it down, doesn't really work. He ends up helping Henry Emily, who's William Afton's business partner, I know this is tricky. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but it's complicated. They bring all of the animatronics, Charlie, William, all of the murdered kids, into a pizzeria, which is basically a maze with no exits, and the whole thing burns down. Everybody inside, dead. All of their spirits released, apart from 2, but that's unrelated. So, he is a complicated character. He's really complicated. He's really quite nuanced, but he's sick. He's a really good character. He's got a lot going for him. And obviously, in the end, he does the right thing. So, once again, in this film, why the fuck is he evil? Now, I think this is down to the fact that there's no antagonist in the second film, apart from Charlie. But even then, because William is too busy being spring-locked. But why did it have to be my boy Michael? Like, leave my dude alone. So he's pro his dad in this film. And maybe I could have believed this if this had happened a little bit earlier in William Afton and his Michael Afton's timeline. But it doesn't. It takes place fairly late, like his dad's been spring-locked already. So why the fuck is he still pro his dad? And also, it's not really clear what he wants to do. He just wants to continue his father's work, which is exactly the opposite of the game. And they don't give a reason for this. Like, his entire character in the games is because he's going around trying to atone for his sins and his father's sins. So if you want to make him pro his dad in this film, you're going to need to give me a super, super great reason why. But they don't. So it's pretty criminal. He's also a bit shit. He doesn't do anything. He's not a threatening villain. He just pulls up, gets McKenna, Grace, and the other 2 killed, and then re-pulls up at the end, greasy as fuck, like, I'm just here to continue my dad's work. I put up all the posters for FazFest. What the fuck is a FazFest? It's tough. It's tough for my boy. They've butchered him, and I'm upset about it. Now, that's kind of all I have to say on the subject of the characters. In terms of some little tidbits about why these films fucking suck, the plot is the most convoluted, complicated shit ever. There's not an emotional core to the story, so everybody's just kind of running around. Like, Vanessa is like Tokyo drifting with Mangle on top of her car, and then Mike is like sitting trying to fend off the animatronics. Balloon Boy pulls up and he just wants all the smoke, fucking tears this dude's heads off and just fucking flings it. If I knew dashing that animatronic's head down the hall was an option, why the fuck isn't everybody doing that from the get-go? Why are we messing around? Abby has this weird subplot where she takes Chica to her robotics fair, and her robotics teacher is evil for absolutely no reason, stupid as fuck, like. And it's not clear either what is the relationship between the Aftons here. How many are there? How many are there? 36. Counted them myself. Every film is another Afton going to show up? Why is Baby here? Does that imply that there was an Elizabeth who's already in the animatronic? Because I'm pretty sure her eyes were green, which is how we know that it's being possessed by Elizabeth. Like, the concept of all of this, it's just, oh my god. It's a shame to me because they've really wasted a lot of great actors on this. Like, obviously Josh Hutcherson. We've got the return of Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich. Like, we could be making moves here, people. We've got my goat, Freddie Carter. Elizabeth Cox, I think is her name, from Vanessa. She Eats. I saw her in You. I think she was really fucking good. Like, they're good actors. And Abby's there. I hate to be a hater of a child, but call me crazy. Call me. And they are completely wasting the talents of the production team. Those fucking animatronics are sick. They look so fucking good. And the fact that they are 100% practical is insane. Why are you wasting them on this shit ass script? Like, what the fuck? I think it just seems to me like they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know where they want to go with it. Like, they don't really set anything up from film to film. The only string we have here is that Vanessa is now possessed by the puppet. I think one of the issues is maybe that they wanted to do it in the order of the film, the order that the games were released in. Fnaf 1, Fnaf 2, Fnaf 3, blah, 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 blah. But, as we all know, that's not the order in which the events happen. And I don't think that really matters to them, clearly, because they're just trying to make up their own set of law and circumstances, and that's fine. But I think a lot of people, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, went into the FNAF films thinking, oh, sick, we're going to get a definitive lore timeline, or we're going to get more time to delve into these characters that we all know and love and have been about for a fucking decade. But no, that is not what they did at all. We just have Josh Hutcherson fucking clarting Balloon Boy in the head, and Abby if she gets in a damn taxi one more time with another animatronic, I'm gonna lose my shit. Also, just a side note, a lot of the actors that they chose to be like little roles or extras are really fucking shit. A lot of it is just like, and I think half of this is the dialogue as well. The script, just like line to line, is fucking horribly written. It's just terrible. The only diva who ate it up was the little girl. When Toy Bonnie pulls up to try and clot her mum, she was acting her little socks off. Tens, give her 10s, she ate. So, yeah. I don't really know where to go from here. I would give them suggestions on how they could fix FNAF 3, but my biggest suggestion would be scrap it and start again. Start again. It's just too far gone. That being said, I will be sat for the third one so I can happily hate watch it. We were the only people in the cinema when I watched FNAF 2, and I really had a whale of a time absolutely giggling my little socks off at all of the random ass shit that was going on, especially when Mike Clyde Balloon Boy. FNAF, you're a mess. You're a mess. We love you, and if I had the budget to make a film series based on the first 6, maybe /7 games, if you want to count Ultimate Custom Night, then I would. And I would steal the animatronics from the films, and I would use them in there, and they would be fucking great. But no, that's not what we've got. So now we're stuck with this.